Welcome to another episode of The Mind's Eye with Mike Lowry. Today is going to be a little different. I wanted to let you guys in on just a little bit about me, my background, where I'm from, kind of like, why I think the way I do, and give you a little bit of insight on why I chose Mind's Eye as the title and where it all came from. Stay tuned. So as I've stated, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about me and why I do this channel, where I get my inspiration from, and just so you guys can get to know who I am, so you can kind of understand where the perspective comes from and just really the way I think. Well, for starters, I'm from a small town called Washington, North Carolina. Very small town. Graduated high school from there. From there, I graduated to Greenville, North Carolina. And here I am now in Raleigh, North Carolina. I've been here for about 12 years. I like it here. From the first time I came here, I felt like this was going to be somewhere that I could live, at least for a little while. It's a good pace. It's not too fast. It's not too slow. It's just a really good balance. It's definitely a growing city, if you will. I'm currently in finance. I've been in finance on and off for a few years now. Back in it heavy, and I really enjoy it. It gives me insight on kind of like where the world's going in like a financial aspect of things. It's good to know some of those things firsthand. But in my experiences is what shaped me. I wouldn't trade any of it. I mean, I can't say that it's been easy, but I can't really say it's been hard. There's always been provision. There's always been God. There's always been support. There's always been family. And that, I'm extremely thankful for, to be able to have that, in my life. And it's what started, this channel. Like, because of my experiences and because of the things that I've been through, it put me in a situation where I felt like I had a lot of insight. I felt like I had a lot of, ideas or things that I could give to other people just based off my experience and just the ability that God had, had given me. And for that, I'm thankful, and I want to share those things with you guys. And since day one, my dad plays a huge part of my life. I get a lot of my perspective and wisdom from him. A lot of it is just intuitive, but I believe that it was definitely passed down from him, and just the way I think and the way I see things. And he and I are definitely a lot alike in a lot of areas, especially when we find ourselves in a debate, or an opinionated debate, if you will. So all these years later, I never forget, I was going to Atlanta with a group of friends, guys I met from church, and that had became friends, and still are friends to this day. And we just had a lot of good conversation. A good conversation is based on perspective and opinions, and I think a lot of our perspective and opinions drive from our experiences. And in doing so and having that conversation, they felt that like I had a lot of insight on what I could give to people. What the way I thought was definitely different than what most would think in any given situation. And so after so many conversations and pushing and shoving and what have you, a year later I finally decided to do this YouTube channel, or some would call a podcast, if you will. But I wanted to share the world, my perspective. I never want anybody to think that I'm trying to tell you how to think. It's just more so trying to tell you how to think more. So I still play ball. I still like to hoop. I still play in leagues. I don't know when I'll ever stop doing that. I mean, it's just a pastime and something I really enjoy doing. I go to the gym 3 to 4 times a week. It's just become a part of my life and my lifestyle. And I also really enjoy that. I really enjoy the results. I really enjoy the in-between, the process of, accomplishing goals. As much as I'd like to get from 0 to 100, I do like 20 and 25 and 30 and learning, through the process. I think that's where we grow the most. So for me, I also have kids. I have a 7-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 19-year-old. And I also now am a grandfather, believe it or not. My oldest daughter just recently had a daughter. She's 3 weeks old, And yeah, that's been an interesting time. Of course, like in life, we don't really expect, those type things, or to be a grandfather at 38. But you embrace the things that you can't change. You embrace the things that has happened, and you find joy in that. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. So what I want to do is challenge you guys to just be open to receiving, to just understand one's perspective. Don't be so quick to, be upset with someone or be down their throat about a particular situation when you really don't know what they've been through. You really don't know what their experiences look like. You really don't know what happened earlier that day that could cause them to respond or react. Give people grace, because we expect grace, from ourselves, or for ourselves rather. So just give people grace, allow them to be who they are. Their experience is what shaped them. So I think that's why it took me so long to get here. Like, I had to overcome certain fears. I had to, overcome stage fright. I had to overcome things or the doubt that I had within myself. And that's just part of the process of overcoming, or finding yourself and who you're becoming. So with that, I feel like we all have gifts, and sometimes it takes us longer to understand what our gifts are. And even if you're the best at what you think you are, you had to fine tune that. You had to practice. You had to study it. You had to, allow it to become a lifestyle in everything that you do. And that's how you get better at what you're already given. So that's where Mind's Eye came from. Mind's Eye to me is like, in our minds, we think a certain way. It gives us the logical idea of why we make some of the decisions that we make. And our heart kind of gives us that emotional and that feeling, the tangible aspect of why we maybe make some of the decisions that we make. And sometimes we're too far logic, and sometimes we're too far emotional, to where we kind of make some of those bad decisions in the way we think and feel. But I feel like the Mind's Eye is like that perspective base, where we kind of channel the two. We have the idea where we're reasoning with our emotions, we're reasoning with our logic, and we're using our perspective based on our experience and what's happening right now to make a better decision, versus allowing ourselves to be too emotional and making a bad decision, and allowing ourselves to be logical where we don't have any feelings in that decision, and that also can turn out to be bad as well. So in doing that, the Mind's Eye allows us to use our perspective based on our experience, dissecting the entire situation to make a much better decision going forward. Just in being open to understanding that there's more than one way to be right. Understanding that, maybe your perspective isn't wrong. It's just based on what you've witnessed and what your experience is. And I think that in understanding that will help us in a lot of situations in terms of, heated debates and heated arguments. A lot of times we're both arguing the same point and we're both right. Love on each other, and just know that there's more to come with the Mind's Eye. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate you guys listening. Just know that there's more to come. If there's anything that you guys want to talk about in particular that you guys want me to address, I'm here to serve you. I'm here to, do what's necessary for the people that are in need. And don't be too prideful. That's not going to get you anywhere. Well, that concludes another episode of The Mind's Eye with Mike Lowry. I hope you guys got an opportunity to learn a little bit about me. Just stay tuned. There's definitely a lot more to come. I'm here to serve you guys. Love y'all. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time.